In today's live stream, we're going to be talking about the most important part of the call. And we're going to talk about how to deliver this properly so that you can start closing more deals as soon as next week. So if you're watching this video, you're new to the channel. That's Tim. I'm Julian.
What's going on?
And we're pretty much just trying to help you make more money selling life insurance, specifically final expense. So how you doing today, Tim?
Can't complain. I'm doing pretty well. Hope you are.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It looks like your Wi-Fi is complaining. I think you're like 3 seconds behind, and you look like a Naruto character with the blurred cartoon look.
Well, that sounds like my Wi-Fi. Been struggling with that, so yeah, thanks for pointing it out.
Of course. That's what I do. So comment below where you're calling in from here on the chat, and we're gonna get started here in just a second after we really get a chance to let some people kind of get into the room. Feel free to introduce yourself and everything. We're going to really be diving into the most important part of your call and how you can start making more sales as soon as next week doing this. Should we dive right into him?
I believe we should. Yeah, I think based off of our live stream last time, it took maybe a few minutes for everybody to jump on in with the email campaign going out and everything. So I say we just go ahead and start, and then people can just watch it as they come in.
Yeah, 100%. I see Tay Littleton says, "Hey, calling from the DC Metro. Welcome to the game, my friend. Tried to reschedule with you today. Let's see. No problem, man. We'll check on it. Shoot me a message. We'll get something going. I'll see what's going on with your business. What's up, Chris? Calling in from Los Angeles. You look like one of my friend's boyfriends. That's interesting, but cool. So I guess let's kind of dive in here, right? So what is the most important? Let's start with the first piece. What is the most important part of the call? You can comment below if you'd like, but I'll give us a spoiler here in a second. Tim, what is the most important portion of the call?
It is the call intro. It's the call intro, the first few seconds.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, people are going to decide if they're going to stay on the phone with you within the first few seconds of talking to you. And if you can't get somebody hooked within the first few seconds, you're going to get a lot of hangups. And you're probably going to think it's the leads, but in reality, it's you.
That's powerful. And I think the big thing that really is huge on that really is that when you're doing a call introduction, like if people are hanging up on you and you're not able to get your prospects to the discovery portion of the call, that can actually affect your income as much as cutting it in half, which is actually insane. And
if not more, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it could be more if you have a terrible introduction. I know there was a guy out there I heard about that was asking people for their social and banking within the first 60 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
He was killing his income. And it's little things like that that can really make a big change in your sales. So if you're watching this right now, you're getting hung up on a ton and you're asking yourself, is it the leads? Is it me? And if you're currently buying leads or working some garbage, recycled or purchase lead that's online and you just can't change your situation, right? Then this is going to be super helpful for turning manure into gold, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
But if you are in a position to change your situation and you want to use the leads like we use, obviously we have free videos on that and more on that later. But the thing is that the intro, regardless of what leads you're using, will make you a better salesperson and overall a higher income. So let's talk about it. Tim, why don't you I'm going to give you a call really quickly and demonstrate a bad call introduction. I heard this earlier this week when I role played with an agent learning about their business on a call. I'm going to show you what a bad call looks like, because this is what I hear a lot of people do. So I'm going to call you up.
Let's do it.
Ring.
Hello?
Hey, is Mr. Shooker around?
Who's this?
This is Julian calling you from the insurance company of, Arizona, Chandler. Just getting back to you about a request that you had sent us here And it looks like you were asking about some.
I've already
life
hung up, bro.
Exactly. And I wanted to point this out because a lot of us are. I talked to 10 agents a day. A lot of us are coming in and we're trying to tell them why they should listen to us. But what we need to be asking is for information on them so that we can listen. And once they are being heard and we're understanding their problems, we can't solve their problem until we understand it. So we need them to define it. Right? So that means that in the introduction, you just have to introduce yourself briefly. I don't give last names, right? I don't talk about my company. So a lot of the times I just jump straight to business and I'm asking them about their problem and I'm just like hitting them on their problem fast because as soon as they define it, they're going to be like, well, what do you have? Or whatever, which gives me a situation. So I'll flip the script. This time I'll do a good call introduction. And I'm going to dome this. No script. I don't have it on me.
Spicy.
Yeah, no script. But I'll just say, let's say ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, this is Tim. Who's calling?
It's just Julian. I'm just calling you back. You had sent us a form here about like seeing if you might qualify for some life insurance plans here in North Carolina. Does that ring a bell?
I think I might have sent something in, but yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, no worries. I was really just calling to kind of see if we could even help. Was this your first time looking into life insurance?
No, I've looked into it in the past, but just, I haven't been able to get approved for whatever reason.
Oh, okay. And when you say you haven't been able to get approved, I guess, can you tell me more about that? What happened?
Well, they said that because I have high blood pressure, I'm gonna have to have a 2-year wait or something. So
Oh my
I've just
gosh,
been looking around, looking at different companies.
what a disaster. And I guess like if you've still been looking around after getting declined for the high blood pressure or whatever, I guess, is this something that like you just can't get approved anywhere or what else have you seen, I guess?
Everywhere I've called has said I couldn't get approved, so that's why I
Wow.
filled something out, I guess.
That makes sense. I'm starting to kind of see like what that actually looks like. I guess, in like a perfect world, if you were able to get approved, what would we really be covering though? Like a burial or cremation? What does that look like?
Yeah, probably just a burial.
Okay, and I'm going to cut it there because I don't want to spend 5,000 minutes talking about Tim's burial goals. But if we're looking at the call introduction here, I'm not like I don't even think I told him my name, right? And I might have, but like he's just telling me about his problem, and that's all that matters to him, right? That's all that matters to him.
The key too is just piquing the intrigue in the very beginning. Because like in the first example, the bad example, when you called me, there's no suspense. There's nothing to find out. There's no reason to keep listening, right? You just sound like some annoying telemarketer.
Mm-hmm.
But when the second call, right, you call me up and I have no idea what this is actually about. You're like, hey, Tim. So I have to at least keep listening to figure out what's going on. So you've bought more of my attention, which is ultimately the goal in the intro is just make sure they don't hang up. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And once you get past that part, you get into the discovery and you can dive deeper, which obviously we did in that example. But a lot of people don't spend enough time really perfecting their intro, getting the tonality right, getting the word track right, and all of that. But that has a massive swing in terms of how much insurance you're able to sell.
What's up, Dom? Yeah, exactly. And the thing that's cool about this too is that like when you start talking to people and you're keeping them on the phone, I know there's going to be some haters in the comments. What's up, haters? And you're going to be like, well, that was an easy call lay down. I didn't hear any objections. When I call my prospects, they tell me they're uninterested. They've already gotten the insurance taken care of. The beautiful thing is that if you're a true professional, what you're going to notice is that the objections are always the same. So if you're new to the business and you're not using a program like ours where we already have it done for you, then you may be having to build this out from scratch like I did with Tim. And the way you can do that is just by literally, it's boring. It's terribly boring work, but you can write down every single objection you get every single time. And when you get them and you start putting tally marks next to the ones that you're getting the most, you start to realize, okay, 10 people today told me they're not interested, but only 3 people said they already had it. So that means I need to get good at overcoming not interested. I don't need to worry about the people that have it just yet, because I just need to worry about how to get past not interested. And if you solve that hurdle, even if you're only able to get 4 out of 10 to move forward, you just increase your output, your capacity to be able to increase your income by like, what is that, 4x? You've got 4 extra shops potentially per day, depending on your lead source.
Yep.
And nobody's talking about this stuff. Everybody's worrying about what close to use. Should I use the assumptive close? Right? Should I post date it? Guys, don't worry about that stuff. Let's get through the first 30 seconds, right? And everyone's just blaming the leads. Like, there's a lot of garbage leads out there. That's the truth. There is. But also, like, if you're less garbage at sales, it doesn't matter as much about the leads. The beautiful harmony of business in sales in this industry is when you have crazy leads, like Tim was able to generate when I was doing this full time on the phone, and then you've got crazy sales, right? Somebody who's taken the tally mark. Okay, cool. It's a scientific method, like going through and doing this the same way that Tim spends all this time on marketing to learn how to get these people to interact with us and actually want to like talk about life insurance and show up for the appointment. All the magic that he does is only valuable if you're able to place somebody else into the mix who has the magic to make the sale happen.
100%.
It's a marriage. It's 2 things. What do you want to add on that, Tim? I know you're the marketing genius. I feel like I'm taking this away here. Catch us up.
No, I mean, I think it's kind of the exact same way with like an ad, right? Or an email or whatever it is. Like, you should spend a disproportionate amount of time perfecting the intro or 100%. The first 3 seconds or the subject line of an email. Like, if you guys get our emails, they're all just like some crazy off the wall, like ridiculous thing, right? Like, you guys have seen the emails. Like, I wrote one email where it's like, thanks from future you, and the email is from you and it's your name, right? We got a lot of unsubs from that because, I mean, if we're honest, it's a little spammy, but a lot of people click on it and a whole lot of people open it, right? So the intro of that email is just so killer, right? And it's the same thing with marketing. It's the exact same thing with sales. So if I'm going to spend most of my time on an ad, on the hook, what's going to get people to stop and pay attention so that they'll become a lead for final expense? As a salesperson, I want to spend the exact same proportion of time perfecting the first part of my call intro, which is what ultimately is going to determine if you can keep these people on the phone or not, right? And that's the other reason why it's so important when practicing objections and mastering and like memorizing objections, to actually start with the first 30-second objections, right? The ones that Julian was just talking about. Perfecting not interested. Perfecting I already have insurance. Perfecting I never filled that out, right? Those are going to be the 3 main ones that you get. Unless am I missing one, Julian?
You said already have insurance, not interested. What was the third one?
Don't remember.
Don't remember filling it out. Oh, yeah. Those are the big 3 for sure.
Yeah, those are the big 3. And once you have those down, you're going to be able to keep a lot more people on the phone than if you didn't, right? And so I would spend most of my time really mastering that. And once you're getting a bunch of people past that stage, then you're going to start to have problems in the back end. Oh, well, I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my husband. I need to think about it. I can't afford it. Blah, 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 blah. And then you start to spend your time mastering those objections.
100%.
Julian, do you think it would be helpful if we kind of like open up the script and show them what this actually looks like in practice when it comes to the call intro?
I think so. I think it would be huge. I have had a few people tell me recently that they'll go through the live, pause it, and try to screenshot the script to get pieces of it because it's so crazy.
They can just download it. It's in the description.
So that's why I was bringing that up. If you guys want to download this, it's going to be for free. You don't have to pause this and screenshot it, or like I've had people call me and be like, "Hey, can I give you a couple $100 for the script?" Like, guys, it's for free. It's in the comments. Like, you don't have to pay us for the script. It's there for you for free. Please use that.
Well, let me share my screen here. We can kind of break this down. We can break down the script here, and particularly this call intro, because I think this is like one of the most important pieces. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally, this is like a 15th of the whole script. But if you just get this part down, if you memorize nothing on the script, but you just memorize this first part, it's going to change your freaking game. So let's kind of roll through it. Do you want to actually, before you do that, I think what would be really helpful is talking about what we're emphasizing and the tonality you're using at each of these points. Because when you did it and you gave the example of like a good call intro, you did a lot of ninja shit with your tonality that I think would be helpful if you kind of broke it down.
Yeah, I think the other thing too to also keep in mind is like when you're doing your call intro, it doesn't have to be the same as mine. You have to tailor it to your lead source. So I've got a ton of people, agents that jump on with me. If you try to call somebody and use the same intro, it may not work because I don't know how your marketing's lined up or your automations or how any of that stuff. But like if you're calling, one of the best intros I ever heard was that, like, you, for example, be like, "Hey Tim," and they'll just be like, "Yeah." You call them up. This is an age leads. Like I was wondering if you would be able to kind of help me with something really quick, and they'll be like so caught off guard, but like you've got them hooked like crazy, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, what? Who is this?" And you go, "Oh, it's just Julian. I'm just getting back to you. You had reached out to us about seeing if you maybe qualified for some of the life insurance plans here in the area." And then you just ask them a question. Is this your first time looking into life insurance? Were you looking for yourself or for you and a loved one? Right? You can kind of like transition there. That's great for age leads. I know a lot of people I've talked to recently have been working age leads. So if you're watching this and you're doing that, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Diving into the ninja shit that you were talking about with the tonality piece, there's really two pieces of ninja shit to break this down. Is like there's basically what's called pacing, and then there's the like tonality. And I'm gonna kind of like expand on that a bit, and I'm gonna call Tim real quick and go through the first line and then break this down because this is how I'm able to basically bust out over 40K a month on my own pen, spending, $1,000 and some bucks a week when most people are barely able to hit 20K a month and they're spending $2,000 on leads a week to get there. So for context, Kyle in the comments that's dialing right now, he brought something up to me that was huge. He said, I finally have the ability to be able to turn a client away. He told me this today in the training. I finally have the ability to turn a client away because I don't feel like they're a good fit for me, because I think they might charge back, when before I was in a position where I'd have to just write them. And I've been there before too. And now when you apply these types of things, it's not just the lead source, it's having that sales piece. So let's jump into it. Ring.
Hello?
Hey, is Tim there?
Yeah, this is Tim. Who's this?
Tim, it's just Julian. I have a request you sent us here about life insurance plans with no 2-year waiting period. I'm just getting back to you here on a recorded line. How's it going?
Going good.
Yeah, okay. I was really just getting back to you to see if we could help. Were you looking for information for yourself or for you and a loved one?
I'm just looking for myself, to be honest with you.
Okay. Pause. Let's go back up. So breaking that down, the first thing that I'm going to come in with is obviously using their name. You can do variations of this. Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Or, hey, is Tim there? Or, hey, Tim. There's many different variations you can use for this. I prefer to use a confused tonality, confused or curious tone, because it usually will get people to feel the same way. And the pacing, if you guys notice, is like, I'm trying to think. It's a lot of the times it's like slow, fast, I think is how it goes. So I'll be like, hey, is Tim there? And so like it makes it more interesting because you could say the same shit, the same thing. Like, hey, is Tim there? Just say yes. Give me a yes real quick.
Yes, this is Tim.
Tim, it's just Julian. I have a request you sent us about life insurance plans with no 2-year waiting period. I'm just getting back to you on a recorded line. How's it going?
click.
I sound like I want to kill myself. He's going to hang up and he's not going to want to talk to me. So the difference is that it's in how you deliver it with your pacing and your tonality. You guys getting this? Can I get a comment down below with like, say tone in the comments? Tone, if this is clicking with you guys. This is making sense. I think the comments are waiting to catch up. I know that sometimes the lag can be a little further behind.
Yeah. 100%.
While this is coming in, Chris says tone. Rev, I don't know if that's revenue or reverend, but he says, thanks for the info. Curious to see what people think about landing page or form fill. You want to answer that real quick, Tim, before we jump back in?
Yeah, I think a combo is the best. So basically having a instant form that sends people to a landing page, because you can very easily and quickly run lead ads. Whereas if you use like a landing page, then you have to set up all this like conversion tracking and pixel optimization and all these words that make your head want to explode. Whereas a landing page is super simple. You can quickly and easily see where your leads are coming from. And we've actually seen higher quality leads for us personally come from the instant form. And the reason why is because people are more likely to put their phone number into Facebook than they are into some random site. So I've seen that works better. We see a lot more fake numbers with like a landing page, and it's also a lot more difficult to set up. So we basically have an instant form that then feeds into a landing page. And that's personally for us what we've found works the best, because you get a high volume of leads, and then you have like a second step that almost filters out the remaining ones, if that makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that was good. One of the other things I want to talk about also is like basically playing the character. This comes down to like the application of tonality and pacing for yourself. So if you guys notice, like when I'm talking, this is like normal Julian talking. But like when I'm in character, I love sales because I basically get to be a Hollywood actor the whole day. Mm-hmm. And so like I can basically just be as fun and crazy as I want to be, because this person just thinks I'm weird. But I get to be weird so that they think I'm weird, which makes them more intrigued, because they're this person is not normal. They're a little bit off. And then I get to be fun and I get to have fun. It's like, I don't know. It's something I just kind of like to.
And like they don't see your face, so you're just a voice from some random place.
Exactly. It's show business. That's what I always call it. So
yeah.
The cool thing about this, like, and you can say the craziest off the wall stuff and to entertain people with this stuff if you want. But like for me, when I go into like the call, I'm always going to like drop my voice to be less intimidating. I'm always going to be curious, concerned even. And I really slow things down and lay off of my pacing to start. You can move things up as you go along the line, but you also have to play to your strengths. So like, for example, the guy that sounds like the Incredible Hulk when he was like in the beast mode, he's like, hey, is Miss Jones there? Like that guy's not going to be able to come in and try to do like a higher pitch, concerned, curious tone. Like he's got to probably play the game a little bit more to his strengths.
Yeah.
That person's going to be able to command a little bit more respect, where they're able to kind of come in with what I used to call a cop knock. I used to knock on people's doors like a cop. That person that has that type of voice is going to have to come into it like, hey, Tim, like a little more assertive, because that's what they have to work with. And if you're a woman, this is a great advantage that women have, is with women, you can be very unassuming, because there's nobody's afraid of a saleswoman, because everyone's afraid of the salesman. That's the stereotype. So you don't have to face the stereotype. You can just lean into the fact that you're there to help.
Yeah.
The concerned tone as a woman is a superpower. If you call up and you're like, hey, Tim.
Yeah, this is Tim. Who's this?
Tim, it's just Julian. I have a request you sent us about life insurance plans with no 2-year waiting period. I'm just getting back to you on a recorded line. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Were you looking for yourself or for you and a loved one?
Just what are you calling about again?
I was just calling you about the life insurance plans here in the area. Was this your first time looking?
No, I've been looking for a little bit.
And then I'm in the game. And so I can come in with a little bit more of like there's like a little bit more tension there. I'm concerned almost. And if you're a woman, you have that to your advantage because women are known for having a more nurturing, more caring sense of things. And typically the senior market is less assuming of the salesperson being a woman because our industry is predominantly male. You have an advantage there. All the guys that call them all day long, like if you're watching this and you're trying to transition into this full time or you're transitioning over from your career, if you're a woman, you have a huge advantage here because you're not a salesman.
Yeah. Some of the best producers I've ever seen have been women.
Yeah, studs.
Yeah.
Studs. And yeah, studettes, exactly. But it's because they have this advantage. And so I say this though because it doesn't matter like what your situation is. I know a guy who's like Turkish. He's got a little bit of an accent. Destroys the phones. He's a monster on the phones.
Yeah.
And he's just got to play to his advantages though. So like when you're going through these calls, like if you're trying to copy me or Tim or the cop knock, Mr. Deep Voice, or if you're trying to copy Kelly, your upline, and you're like a teenage boy, like if you're an 18-year-old guy and you're trying to copy your upline and she's a 46-year-old woman with kids, like her style might be different from yours. So you have to like watch these types of videos to learn how to apply it yourself, right? Because I've had to train all those people. I've had to train the mom in her 40s. I've had to train the younger lady in her 20s. I've had to train the older guy with the really deep voice. I've had to train the guy who's like got a higher pitched voice. And the trick is with all of it is you just can't try to be somebody else. You just have to play with your pacing and your own tonality. And that tonality is sometimes leaning towards more of a concerned situation. Sometimes it's more of a curious tone. I love the curious tone personally for myself. Does this help? Are we digging this? Is this valuable for you guys, or what are we looking at here? Bruno Facino. All right, Bruno. We got how much is a good budget per day to spend on one agent? A top producer is different from one agent starting out. So
yeah, what do you mean by top producer? Because we kind of have a formula we use to work backwards. What kind of annual production per month are we looking at here? Because I mean, I've heard people call themselves top producers and they're writing 10K a month in AP, and I've heard people call themselves a top producer and they're writing 100K a month in AP. So that varies widely. Yeah. So what do you mean specifically by a top producer? 35K. So here's the number that I always look at. We use a stat with all of our clients and all the agents we work with. We call it PPL. Okay. So this basically means premium per lead. So essentially what that actually breaks out to is how much premium do you write per lead that you buy/generate, right? In our client's case, it's generate because we run all of the ads for them. All they do is just close deals and call leads, right? So they don't buy leads. But besides the point, what do you write in premium per lead you generate? So the way that you get that is you take the amount of AP that you write and then you divide it by the total amount of leads that you got. You can do this on a monthly, weekly, daily basis. We have a spreadsheet for all of our clients that literally does it every single day and calculates it. So the metric or the KPI that you want to stick to is $50 of premium per lead that you get, right? And if we assume an average of about a $10 cost per lead, that means we're getting a 5x on every dollar that we put into leads in terms of premium that we're writing. So 35,000, if we divide that by 50, 700 leads for the month. If we say on average, you're going to pay about $10 a lead, right? Just for, sake of example, you'd need spend about 7K in a month on leads to write 35K, right? And we always want to be conservative. Your lead cost may be lower than $10, and that would be better. And a lot of our best agents have higher than a 50 PPL, but we always like to shoot for 50 because it's a pretty much guaranteed way to hit the numbers that you need to hit, right? If your PPO is below 50, you more than likely have a sales problem. But the people that are writing like the most of the clients that we work with have usually a PPO of above 50, right? So let's say you need to spend about 70K or 7K, not 70K in a month. That would mean to write about 35 to 40K a month, you'd want to spend about $233 per day on ads, which pretty much breaks out. That means per week, you're going to be spending about $1,600 a week to write 35,000 divided by 4. Yeah, so you're spending about $1,600 a week to write nearly 9K. So those numbers work out. I would say, I mean, that's a math problem. I gave you the math. To write 35K, I would spend about $230 a day. Obviously, that's something that you would scale up to. You're not immediately just going to launch ads on Facebook and spend $230 a day, but you can scale up to that point. And if you want help, we can help you do that. We have a marketing team that's literally spent multiple six figures on Facebook ads. So we can definitely help you out with that. And if you want to learn more, I'll post a link where you can speak with us about basically having us run all your ads and then also do like coaching and, all the stuff that we kind of just did in this video, but on a more consistent basis and a more personalized basis. So I just posted the link in the description to show you guys. That's where you go to learn more about that program. Again, we run ads for all of our clients. We install our automations and our systems and the calendars to get them pre-booked appointments. One of our clients gets 11 pre-booked appointments per day. And so we install that whole system for you, run the ads, and all you have to do is focus on the sales. And then we'll give you all the systems and stuff that we have as well. So I just dropped that link down below if you guys want to learn more about it. And I know we have we're a couple minutes over, but I want to make sure we can answer all these questions.
I got to wrap up here. I got a call to jump to. If you guys have any trouble booking a call with me, I'm going to answer these questions real quick. And also, I'm usually booked out 48 to 72 hours at least. So if you can't find a time, please message me. I can try to help. Any advice for guys that have a weird voice over the phone? If you have a weird voice, anything that like you have that you would consider a disadvantage is something that I always try to create as an advantage for myself. So for example, like you guys ever heard of a fat guy that makes fun of himself for being fat? It's like really funny, but it's like, that's like kind of tough. Like that kind of hurts. But like nobody else makes fun of him for being fat because he's the one always doing it. Or like Eminem. Nobody's ever roasting Eminem. Eminem roasts himself so hard, it's impossible to roast Eminem because he's already roasted himself. And so if you've got like a weird voice, for example, I might make a joke. I don't know what your voice sounds like, and it probably is.
Let's say it sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Like a Patrick Mahomes voice.
Yeah. You got a Kermit the Frog voice, or like maybe you got a voice like Mickey Mouse. Like I might be like, "Hey, is Tim there?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, this is Tim." Like, hey, Tim, it's not Mickey Mouse calling you. It's just Julian. I was just calling you back because you reached out to us about blank. And they're like, "What the hell? Like what? Mickey Mouse?" Yeah, most people kind of make fun of my voice ever since I was a kid, so I just figured I'd get it out of the way. And like all of a sudden, you're going to be the best agent they've ever had. They're like, "Oh my gosh, no, your voice is fine. You don't have a problem at all." Blah 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 blah. And then like, it's good from there. You're no longer the telemarketer.
Hey, I want to add to that too, because dude, the amount of people that have told me they have a weird voice and then they don't is so innumerable, if that's a word, that I couldn't even count it. Right. My girlfriend, before she was my girlfriend, she told me she had a weird voice and she didn't want to jump on the phone. And then I jumped on the phone. Her voice is like totally normal. But most people just hate the sound of their own voice. So there's a good chance you have a normal voice, or maybe it's a little weird or a little high pitched, but like you probably notice it more than other people. I may be totally wrong, and you could have like the craziest voice out there. So my apologies if you do. In that case, take Julian's advice. But there's also a chance you just sound normal, bro.
Yeah. This isn't Mr. Krabs calling. This isn't SpongeBob calling. That'd be a good one. Prasanna SJ, new agent struggling. How much budget do I need to have to work with you? It depends on what you're trying to accomplish in what time frame. But have we ever helped anyone in your situation? I had like $1,000 to my name to invest in my first Facebook leads that I generated with Tim when we were roommates back in our hometown, and I made it work. So you don't need a ton of money, but like if you don't have any money to invest, there's a chance. I mean, obviously I don't know your situation. I'm just giving you general advice, but like without knowing your entire situation, like sometimes it may make more sense to have a job, save up some money, and then take a leap of faith into the business. But like if you have like, $300 in rents due in 3 weeks, like I'd probably go get the job. Hopefully that helps. I got to jump. I've got a call. Thank you guys for showing up. If you have any questions, I heard somebody say,
one more thing. Guys, we literally have a free course that shows you guys how to generate your own leads and has hours and hours of sales training and live recorded calls in it. And the other part that's pretty crazy is if you post your sales inside of this group, every time you post a sale, you get entered in to win a free trip to Mexico. So literally, we're going to be spinning a wheel once the group hits a certain amount of premium and giving away a free trip to Mexico. So if you guys want to get like literally a free course that teaches you how to do that, and then a community of other agents, and when you post your sales, you get entered to win a free group, just click the link I just sent there, join the group. It's 100% free. You'll learn some cool shit. And then also you could win a free trip to Mexico. So that's it.
Amazing. Cool deal.
Awesome. See you guys next week, and look forward to working with some of you soon.
Later. See ya.